Hello and welcome back to Burgundy Banter. My name is Juanners,
And I'm Judge Jim.
and it's always a very, very much more pleasant atmosphere on the show coming off of a massive 1-0 victory against Real Salt Lake at home. The Rapids had kind of a hat trick of wins against RSL over the weekend, over the state of Utah.
Mm.
Not only did the Rapids beat RSL, but some unified action after the match there.
Mm.
The Rapids Unified beat Salt Lake Unified. Well, they didn't beat them, but it was a 0-0 draw. But due to the rules of the Cup, the RMC stays with the Rapids, and then over the weekend, the Sunday after, Rapids beat the Real Monarchs by a score of 2-1, I believe. I'll have to double check on that. But Jim, let's talk about the Rapids here for a bit, because it was a good feel good win at home. Maybe not as dominant as one might say. I'm ready to kind of poke holes in the performance, but immediate thoughts here.
Win's a win, and it's a Rocky Mountain Cup win. So I was pretty happy coming out of there. I think, given the last couple matches and the way things have gone, it's good to get the Salt Lake game in the W column. It's a hell of a lot better than a loss. I think if the Rapids had lost one, we'd be sitting here in complete dismay. So yeah, it's just a good, pleasant win against your rival is kind of how I take it.
Yeah,
Um,
we have to. I want to dive into this because this was a game without Rafael Navajo and without Nico Hansen, and or sorry, without Zach Steffen. I was looking at my
sure,
sheet here.
sure.
Nico Hansen stepped in, and I thought Hansen, man, I really like the guy. I think he's a solid keeper. I think he really rose to the occasion on this one. RSL didn't really do as much, but there was some moments where they needed to call upon him, and he was massive. And
Sure.
that was kind of one of my takeaways there. But what'd you make of the absences here? Because I know you had a
Well,
thought about Hoffa.
did I have a thought about Hoffa? I don't remember that thought about Hoffa.
Well, the when he was out, we were kind of speculating why he might have been out.
Sure. Yes, the old injuring the foot on the kicking of the bench potential.
Potentially,
Um,
allegedly,
yeah,
perhaps.
yeah, it's allegedly, perhaps. Let's clear that real quick. Um, I thought everybody did well. And, the game wasn't the prettiest of games. The Rapids didn't go in and, get 5 goals. But, like you said, Nico Hansen, when called upon, looked really solid. And he's very quick off his line, is one thing I noticed. He seems into the game the whole 90 minutes. And that's what you want in a backup keeper. We've talked about this maybe before. He's had an interesting upbringing in his soccer career. So, yeah, he's done really well. He's actually been probably the season surprise for me is Nico Hansen.
Yeah, I mean it's surprising that he initially got the start because Beaudry was out, but I'm pretty sure Beaudry was available. Yeah, he was on the bench for this one. So,
He was on the bench.
how are we feeling about that? I know there's not much goalkeeping discussion. Well, there is going to have to be because Zach Steffen did get called up to the U.S. men's national team. But it's are we just saying that Mr. Adam Beaudry's just not ready yet? Is that kind of the vibe we're getting?
It's kind of the vibe. I think the games that he's played in Juan in the MLS have been tough situational games, which most games are, right? It's the MLS, but he's still very young. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a summer loan to a lower level, maybe just to give him more playing time, if anything. I don't know how they feel about that. I know the club's very high on Adam Beaudry, but if Nico Hansen's putting in these performances, it kind of adds to the competition of the second keeper spot. And you certainly don't want Adam Beaudry just sitting on the bench for the next 3 years. So, yeah, you'd have to see how they handle that, I guess. You have to see how it plays out.
Another player that has seen a lot more time ahead of others is Jackson Travis. At first, you know, I was kind of, I was a little miffed about it because I was like, I don't know why we don't see an Ian Murphy out there, a Keegan out there. But the more I think about it, the more I don't mind Jackson Travis just out there getting some good minutes. He's been the Ollie surprise for me. Like last year, I know a lot of people were surprised to see Ollie get so much minutes. This year, it's starting to be Jackson Travis who kind of like just is sneaking his way onto the 11, really. And I'm not ready to say he's top class or our first team guy, but I haven't been as upset with him in the lineup as of late. What do you make of his performances so far?
Well, his last game against RSL, he looked really good. Then he seemed pretty solid. He seemed into the game. The other two games, I saw moments where I was kind of kind of on the edge of my seat or worried about something he was going to do, but no, like the RSL game, he seemed locked the fuck in, and it kind of proved me wrong because I was on the whole train of like, well, why not somebody else, right? Why play Jackson Travis? But I think the RSL performance this last weekend kind of swayed me a little bit. And you know, you're right. He's becoming that surprising, the Ali Laraz Memorial surprising player of the season.
I thought it was gonna be Hanya. Was way wrong.
I did too. Yeah.
But
R.I.P. that one.
Here, well, I mean, he's still in the organization, so I mean,
yeah, he is.
He's in.
TBD.
He's a valuable piece for my city and my team, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. I love that chant. But here's an interesting one.
My city, this is my team.
In the last 5 matches, Jackson Travis has had 341 minutes compared to Sam Vines' 134. So that's like even through a rotational spell of games, Jackson Travis is being picked ahead of Sam Vines. I mean, also ahead of Ian Murphy, also ahead of Keegan Rosenberry. So they're trying to develop him, and sometimes I am all for it. It obviously makes you kind of, you know, upset not to see a guy like Rosenberry getting the start. But I mean, between him and Vines, like you got to maybe think one of them is a good trade asset at this point. If you're gonna be rolling out with Travis, and if Travis is the starter, what do you make of that?
That's a good one. Trade assets and MLS roster construction. Not my forte. But
I mean, what do you do with the Rosenberry or Vines? You know, it's like
right down the line, you'd have to make a decision for sure. Because ultimately speaking, you don't need all three.
Yeah,
but we've seen in the past the Rapids have a surplus of left backs, so it's kind of a like we had like 4 2 years ago. So, you know, it's. I think eventually, yes, there would be some trade value there between those three.
Yeah, I hope it's just. I hope. I mean, you know me, man. I want to see Keegan out there, so I hope it's not him that. Especially
that
after
or Jackson Travis blows up and goes to Europe. That would be sweet.
That would be kind of an exciting way to go about it, but I don't know how sustainable that would be. You know. Especially if one of, I mean, they're giving an awful lot of minutes to Travis, and so I would hate for that disruption there, because I don't know, I'm willing to see more of Mr. Travis there, but elsewhere in the lineup, Where else did we go, man? I thought Darren Yappy was is showing out. He had an amazing backheel pass inside the box.
Mm, yes, he did.
He hustles. He runs. I think between him and Navajo, like I know we were clamoring for him to get a loan, and we were clamoring for a backup striker, but God, man, I love seeing Appy out there. Like he brings me so much joy in my Rapids fandom. So I am happy to see him out there. Another player also the same is Teddy Cudi Pietro, who his first few minutes in DC, I was like, oh man, if this is his floor, we're kind of cooked. But ever since, he's kind of steadily grown into games, showing more. He had this run from like him and Yappy. Yappy like wins the ball from deep and he's running with it. Teddy sprints from like the half field line all the way up into the attack, and he gives Darren Yappy an outlet, shoots, and he hits the crossbar. And I'm like, man,
Yep.
if those two are gonna be, combining, man, oh my God, don't get me started, man. I want to see those two flourish on this team.
It's like Juanners.Bsky. It's like it's like perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. But, well, should we do our weekly Kevin Cabral summary?
No, man. I want to talk. Well, if you have anything else to say.
Zero. There is no summary. That's the point. There is nothing to talk about. On to the next guy.
Plenty of Teddy though. Plenty to talk about with Teddy.
Yeah. No. He came in. You're right. He came in and just like had a fire under him. Coming into this game, and he had a couple good like defensive plays too, where he like really hustled and tracked back to help win the ball, and it was just like really like refreshing to see.
Dynamic wing play.
Yeah, like the dude needs to fucking start. Like Chris Armas, if you're listening, like please, for the love of God, start him over Kevin Cabral against St. Louis, please. And thank you.
Now, on the other side, did you see your fantasy signing, Mr. Johnny Russell, coming in on an RSL kit?
I did, and it was absolute JJ like hatred moment because I hated him. I hated him with Sporting Kansas City, but I was kind of on the train of, well, if we signed him, that would be fucking sweet, and we kind of needed him. Maybe back then.
We don't need him.
Well, we didn't need him, but me and B-Ray were under the illusion that we needed him. And he came out there. I don't think he really did anything, didn't really bring anything to the game. But Johnny Russell, God, he's like 36 playing for RSL. Typical RSL kind of signing. You signed some kind of washed guy. God, I'm thinking of the last guy. Giuseppe Rossi was the last guy who kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, just Johnny Russell, there he was.
Yeah, I beyond that, I mean the Diego Luna sub at 60th minute, that was the white flag. That was once I saw that, it was like, if this team loses at this point and there's no Luna on the other team, we are going to have some issues. But I mean, 1-0 tidy win, tidy goal from Georgie. It definitely seemed like a guy that was just not frustrated, but just taking care of business, and like just give me the ball, slaps it in. Good goal. Good win. How are we feeling about this team overall coming after this match here? Any final thoughts on the?
I think the RSL team that we saw is absolute dog shit. So it's really hard for me to be like, well, the Rapids turned it around and I'm happy and everything's great. Like, really what it is, and we'll talk about this, like the next game for me is kind of making me or will give me the proof to have a certain feeling about this team. Right now it's it's a good win, but we got to keep at it, right? So
yeah, and
kind of where I'm at with it. Not convinced fully.
Because it took a while for that first goal, right? It was in the 70th minute, something.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah, 70th minute, exactly. So I mean, and it. What was interesting is it came 9 minutes after the Teddy sub. So, I think that there's a world. I mean, for me, I think if we've talked about the Rapids floor, right, and their ceiling and what type of team that they really are, if they're a contender, if they're really in this upper echelon. I think the initial start of the season, there was a lot to really like about the defensive acumen of the team, about just kind of how they lined up, how
it
they
looked
played.
Great on paper.
And then it kind of collapsed after that Dallas match, 3-3. And we got the team was winless for a bit, but this win here, it's like the win came, but there's still those tendencies that we've seen of this team to like not necessarily play well. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we haven't even talked about this, but before this, they actually did go to San Diego and got their butts handed to them, right?
Yeah.
But that was that was always going to be a midweek. You can always kind of, take those L's and not really look back and take much on them. And
there's not a lot of material there, right?
Because it's on the road midweek. You come back home a little bit broken, but by
brand
broken
new city too.
Yeah. I mean, this past week, right? It wasn't ideal starting off the 2-0 loss at home. I think that was a very humbling time for the team. And for me, I always figured, well, San Diego is going to come, and if it's a win, it's a good momentum builder. If it's a loss, it is what it is. And, it was what it was. Like, that loss doesn't upset me as much as that DC loss, right? But there's moments that
now the San Jose at home for me,
and that one is also the humbling one. But I think this one, given the circumstances of coming back from a midweek game, you don't have your starting keeper, you don't have your starting striker, you're going up against RSL, who are also a team that were, like I said, they were also kind of coming in this really tired. I mean, they only had 5 available defenders, and 4 of them had been playing heavy minutes, right? Yep. So for the Rapids to come away with just a 1-0 win, it's like, okay, the floor is there. This team can beat these types of teams at home. We see that there's quality in like it's not so much that the Rapids are that bad, but they're not that good. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. They're an average MLS team as of right now.
Yes, and I'm glad you say as of right now, because this is the precursor to I think what is the real start of the season. You get your summer months in. The team is probably feeling fully fit. There's no injuries. I would like to add. I know your boy is out, Ali Fadal, but there's no
knee injury.
There's no real heavy injury to the team right
problematic now. Injuries.
Yes, and so right now it's all about figuring it out, right? And beating the RSL at home is we're in a okay spot to be, but it's we're reeling back from the panic button.
Yes, we are. We have taken one battery out of the panic button. But we've left it on the table still.
I think it's there's panic, and then there's genuine concern.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what's after panic, but I'll reserve it for when it's really dire. And right now it's fine. It's not. I know a lot of people want a next level winger, but I had the thought, why don't we do a 4-2-3-1? And this is just in my head. Put Hoffa on the wing, dude. He clearly wants to be a lot more on the ball, and he is, he is a player that can progress the ball from deep. I know he could press the left side in a bit more. That allows Yappy as a true target forward 9, big body up top, and slowly coming into his zone. You got Teddy on the right, moving dynamically around them. Georgie behind them in the 10, and then you got Bassett behind them in that 8 role. He really needs to be in that 8 role, man. Like I don't like seeing him. I don't like seeing him pushing up and pressing high up the field. But him and then Connor Ronan, Josh Atencio, Oliver Larraz, good luck. One of you's got something. So prove it in training and in the matches. I think it's Atencio after all, but still, Ollie's still that guy, dude. It's hard. We're in a good spot, as I talk about the team now.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. It feels like there's more closer competition than prior seasons, maybe. So there's not a lot of your lock-in guys, right?
Right.
Whereas teams prior, the whole 11 was lock-in guys.
And don't get it twisted. This team is still at least a piece or two away from genuinely competing, but and that's why a summer window could absolutely change the course of this season for better or for worse. So, I mean, right now, as I talk, it's still, late May, but as the transfer window starts to open, I don't know if we're going to see any outbounds. The Rapids are not necessarily a historic team. I know the Nuggets are running it back with David Adelman, and there's a lot of kind of general KSC fatigue amongst Nuggets fans of oh yeah, they're just going to go with the cheap option. And that may or may not be the thing here for the Pids, right? We are probably going to go cheap option, not get anybody of substance, but a man can dream, Jim. I want that amazing summer window.
And knowing what we'll do, we'll sign Ralph Priso 2.0 for $200K in GAM, and that'll be it.
Or another draft pick.
Or just a heap of draft picks for absolutely nothing. From the Philadelphia Union, too.
Any other closing statements? I mean, fuck Salt Lake, man.
Yeah, fuck Salt Lake. Fuck their fans, too. They kind of got a little edgy on Twitter. I had to calm some of them down. Just a horrible shit club. And honestly, I'll say it on record. You look at the history of the sponsorship deals, the owner comments from prior ownership groups. Just shady business all around. And I'm glad that I'm on the right side of the Rockies.
All right, well said, my friend. Let's go ahead and talk about some St. Louis.
St. Louis.
The Rapids did play St. Louis. The season opener, I was in attendance for that one. A cold 0-0. Man, that match, that away day was not the most fun. But I was at that one. I don't remember.
You were there.
It was a game to forget. So, and that's kind of my sentiment again for this week, because St. Louis are a team that are, currently in shambles. They are winless.
Dire straits.
Winless in their last
panic button.
12 across all 11 across all competitions. And they went to Minnesota over the weekend, lost 3-0. And they had to play them again. And they had to play them midweek in the U.S. Open Cup, so that was a very weird twist of fate for them. And Anthony Markanek, a former Rapids player, former St. Louis player, now on Minnesota, scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to eliminate them from the U.S. Open Cup. And I mean, for STL, I'm gonna have to play devil's advocate here, because they have largely been injured throughout the season. Chris Durkin, one of their more reliable holding midfielders, he was there in that match against the Rapids. He's been out for a long stretch of matches. I can also say what is his name? Edward Lowen, a very good dynamic box-to-box 8. He has been away from the team due to some personal issues in his life. His partner is going through some medical issues, and they have been missing him, but they still have an attack in Marcel Hartel, Cedric Teukert, and Joao Klaus, all of whom are still just kind of, it feels like 3 individual players kind of, not really with any aim, not with any real threat between the 3 of them. This is
they're just kind of there.
They are just kind of there after all, and I am thinking that the manager is this could be the Rapids sacking a manager. I don't think the Rapids have ever really gotten a manager sacked. So if the
we'd have
Rapids,
to ask Jason Maxwell.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. But if the Rapids win here, I need to hear a sacked in the morning. You're getting sacked in the morning. We need to hear that for Melbourne, because this is they are a rough team to watch.
Yeah, it's not been good enough. And I am, you kind of see transitions of managers from different leagues, and you see Jesper Sorensen obviously come from Europe and have great success with the Whitecaps, taking a Whitecaps team and just excelled them. And then you see Olaf Melborg, who comes in and just absolutely did the opposite. Didn't really bring anything to this team so far. And yeah, it shows in the standings. So I'm really hoping for that, actually, Juan. I'm hoping for a sack game for sure.
Now,
all the way.
One thing that they have been trying to do is they've been trying to play a lot more defensive style. They are a very, very, I mean, if there is ever an Atletico Madrid, an ATL, it's here. It's STL. Yeah, it's during a lot of their counter presses, like, when teams lose the ball, they'll try and win it back. These guys will just they'll just assume their defensive formation, man. It's a very rigid style of play, and it's a style of play I think that the Rapids are going to have a very difficult time to break down, especially if they roll out with Kevin Cabral. But I did say they were hurt, but a lot of those players are starting to come back. So we may see Chris Durkin in the midfield again, just right on time for the Rapids. And I consider him a very important player for the side. Like, he is like kind of their midfield anchor. Like, he is their Atencio, really.
Darlington Nagbe.
Well, I mean,
not Darlington Nagbe. What the fuck is that guy's name? He's been in the league forever. Diego Chara. I'm sorry, listeners. Continue.
Yeah. Well, if there was a one direct player I would compare him to, it's Perry Kitchen.
God!
Just a hard
throwback.
Yep.
Throwback.
Just a hard-nosed holding midfielder who can't really find the next pass, but he's going to carry a lot of water. You know what I mean? But I mean, for me, I think this match is going to be dependent on whether or not you have Navajo available. If you have Kudi Petro starting, Yappy should start again. Mihailovic should be in there. You got some questions at the fullback position. I would love to see Rosenberry out there, but if not Rosenberry, I don't mind Travis again getting those developing minutes. It's like this is a hallmark of a Moneyball team, is developing young talent, and Armis did it last year with Ollie, and if he does it again with Travis this year, just keep going.
Sure, it's a good game for it too.
How are you thinking about this team? Who? I mean, one player I haven't even mentioned, Connor Ronan. How have you felt about him in his few games? Because shit, man, if I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bassett Ronan combo.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind it either, considering the circumstances. But Connor Ronan, If you were to ask me what players were probably next to leave the club, I would put him on the top of my list, him and Maxu. But honestly, like, he's a very serviceable player. And yeah, the last few matches, he seemed okay.
Okay, I'll take that. I've liked him a bit more,
Not
but
like great, but just like good enough for me to be okay with him being out there. Like,
well, what I like about this version of Connor Ronan is he isn't the main guy. You know what I mean? He can just be a player to play off of in the midfield. It's what we've always said about him. He's a great complement piece, but not a piece you build around. And I don't think they're building around him, but in the game that he started, I felt he filled that role well. You know, of like not the world world beater, but a guy who's just gonna connect well. You know, he reminds me of Omir, but I think he's got a bit more like, I don't know, like Omir. I don't know how to say this. Like, I guess Connor Ronan's got more of a doggedness to him than Omir. But
yeah, Connor Ronan, one thing I can appreciate is his long passing. He's able to ping a ball from one corner to the next, and do it really well.
We got to see that connection with him and Teddy. And Teddy just collects and goes, and it'll be just like 2021 all over again. Instead of
Danny
Ronan,
Wilson, Michael Barrios.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, that was a classic combo.
That it was. Any other? I mean, let's get into some score predictions, I guess. What do you see from this one?
I want to see a big win, man. I want to see like a 4-0, a 3-1. 4. Give me 4-goal. 3. Yes. Give me the goals. Break this team down. Fire Melberg.
Fire Melberg.
just take it to them, man. And honestly, we're really due for a big home game like that. And just the fact that this St. Louis team has played a lot of minutes and is struggling and all these different factors, right? Like, I want to see a big fucking game. Absolutely.
So I'm actually going to echo you a bit. I see this as a 2-0 win. And
I'll take that too.
Of course you will. The big thing to note here, for, I guess, from a model standpoint, the immediate analysis from my machine here is STL 0.19 goals expected total for this match, right? So that really tells me that, and that's even, I haven't even put Stefan in there in the calculation. So even with Hansen in goal and with the defense that they rolled out last week, they should be able to limit St. Louis to 0 goals effectively. And you know what that means, Jim? That means don't concede before the half. We celebrated that. I know we didn't, and that comes with a clean sheet win. But that is one thing that is being forgotten in this RSL win is the clean sheet, man. Do it again. Do it again. No goals conceded is a good metric, a good base to build off. So I'm gonna steal my model prediction 2-0 Rapids. Give me a Darren Yappy brace.
Oh
yeah.
Take it.
Yappy will be the person to sack Melberg. That's
it's a lore game.
It's a lore game for Yappy.
Wow.
Did you have goal scorers? You have 4. You have 4 to give out.
4 to give out, and I'm gonna go crazy with it and say Yappy's gonna score 2, and then obviously our good friend Georgi Mihailovic is gonna score 2. So double brace action.
So with that being said, Mr. Judge Jim, where can they find you?
Judge Jim on Twitter and on Instagram and Bluesky, and I want to give a quick shout out, if I can, to Auckland FC, who play in the semifinal of the A-League. like 2 hours after the Rapids game. So it's going to be a double duty weekend here. Big game against Melbourne Victory. If they win, they go to the final, and that would be big.
Hell yeah, man. Go Auckland Knights.
Black Knights.
Black Knights. Thanks.
Black Knights.
You can find me at Juanners.715, and you can follow all of the Box State Footy by going to jim.bsky.Social. Official site is live. If you need to find any of our socials, we are on there. That'll be it from us here at Burgundy Banter. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we will see ya when we see ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks again.